Hello guys, it's 899 here and welcome to the official NRL prediction / tips for round 10. It's Magic Round. It's the Magic Round of real. This is the real. Even though the NRL campaign is, it's unreal, but this is real. Nothing's real. I'm in your walls. So anyways, I didn't do a video last week. Basically, I was a bit too busy with university. I will say I got 4 out of 8. Just about. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. First off, to think of a weekend like this, you need an absolute barnstormer to open the round. And we have got that. It's Friday night, 6 PM, the first match of Magic Round. It is the Canterbury Bulldogs up against the Newcastle Knights. So arguably at the moment, currently probably the two teams who are currently favourites for the wooden spoon. Battling it out. Knights are currently on a 7-game losing streak. The Bulldogs were pretty shocking against Canberra last week. I do know the Knights are getting a few players back. For example, Mitch Barnett. It'll be his first game back from his suspension. So, hey, I mean, Chris Smith still plays for Penrith, but I mean, might envision it into someone and get suspended again. That would be great. But this match is probably, out of all the weekend, one of the hardest to pick. And I don't usually pick my own team in terms of predictions. I only think I've predicted them to win maybe once. But I'm going to have some faith in the boys. I think the Newcastle Knights should win and end the streak. If not, boy, we are in some trouble. Now we go into the final game on Friday night. It is a big game. It happened last year at Magic Round in the exact same time slot. It is the Manly Warringah Seagulls up against the Brisbane Broncos. Now, Brisbane are currently on a fairly solid streak at the moment. It can be very much said. Manly are starting to get back into their form as well. Obviously, Turbo coming back. They had a good win against the Tigers in front of a very good crowd at Brookvale Oval. Brisbane, obviously, their backs are just fantastic at the moment. I mean, you can pick all of them like Farnworth, Corey Oates, Cobbo, Katoni Staggs, Tamari Martin. They've all been brilliant. So this match is probably going to be, and honestly, I'm going to pick this is going to be the match of the round. And this might be a little bit of an outsider, but I honestly think Brisbane will do Manly over. Obviously, last time it was a very big win for the Manly Seagulls over the Broncos, but I honestly think this game, I think Brisbane will win. Now we go into the Saturday night games. First off at 3 PM on the 14th of May, I should say, which is my birthday, so happy birthday to me. All Anzine, all that bollocks. He's a jolly good fellow and that. But Warriors versus Rabbitohs. It's gonna be it's a hard one to predict. Obviously the Warriors last week, they played 60 minutes with 12 men. 10 of those were when they were down, when they were playing the Sharks were down to 12 men for about 60 minutes. And then there was a 10-minute period where the Sharks were down to 11 and the Warriors still couldn't score. Like, that is a very big problem. And I know Souths have not been that good recently either. They've been a little bit too inconsistent. I do think South Sydney should easily win this match, unfortunately for Warriors fans out there. Now we go to the 5:30 game. It is the Gold Coast Titans up against the St George Illawarra Dragons. This is another one which could go either way. Obviously, the Dragons having a very good streak, obviously, but then they had to play Melbourne. And in Melbourne, it's just it's very unfair competition. This is really the Gold Coast Titans didn't have a good performance last week either. I mean, they were okay, but the Roosters are starting to switch on, get a bit of groove into them at the moment. So in terms of this match, I actually think that. So, in terms of this is obviously another hard game to pick. I will go and say I think St George will win. Very hard one. This is definitely a game that the Titans can just come out guns blazing and absolutely dominate, though. Now we come to Saturday, 7:45 p.m, touted as the match of the season, or the Parramatta Victims match. It is the Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers. The two best teams currently in the NRL facing off against each other. Obviously, both teams met up in the preliminary final last year where Penrith won by a point. And I feel like last week, obviously, Penrith did lose to Parramatta. I felt that result was coming. I didn't know if it didn't happen last week, I felt like it was going to happen this week. But Melbourne are just on another level of form. I think with my prediction, it's going to be the Melbourne Storm, and I think it's going to be a bit more of a belting than people probably predicting. People are probably going to predict it's going to be really close. I think Storm are going to run away with it, personally. So yeah, that's you know what? No, I don't do guarantees. No, that's just my council told me not to. Now we're going to the Sunday matches, the actual days where I'm actually streaming, so do check them out. Look, trailers! We're going into Saturday, 1:50 p.m. It is the Cronulla Sharks up against the Canberra Raiders. Obviously, both teams did play in round one. Played a very good game, with Canberra just squeaking out the win. But Canberra at the moment, they are very hard to pick. And Cronulla have just been really, really consistent, especially after playing to 12 and down also to 11 men at some points against the Warriors and end up coming out on top. I think the Sharks will get the win over the Raiders. I think Sharks should very easily win. Now we go to the 4 p.m. kickoff on Sunday. It is, of course, the Sydney Roosters up against the Parramatta Eels. Of course, Parramatta, the world beaters at the moment. They are the only they're the only teams who have beaten Melbourne and Penrith so far this season. Roosters have been a little bit inconsistent, but Roosters starting to get back in their form. I feel like with the match last week, a lot of people are going to think that, Parramatta, you're going to win this easily. I feel this game is going to be a lot more difficult for Parramatta. I mean, to be fair though, it wasn't really easy. Like I should rephrase it. Parramatta won a game which not a lot of people expected them to win. And in this game where a lot of people are going to think the Parramatta are going to win, maybe comfortably, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm still going to tip that Parramatta will win, but I think it's going to be a really too close for comfort. Maybe even another 2-point win. Who knows? And then we go to the final game of Magic Round. It is the West Tigers up against the North Queensland Cowboys. The Cowboys are currently one of the best on-form teams at the moment in the NRL. The Tigers have been on a pretty good run of form over the last couple of weeks. Has been a bit stagnant ever since the Dragons and Manly games. I don't think the Tigers will put in a good performance, but I just think the Cowboys are going to be too good, unfortunately. So that is the end of my Magic Round or Round 10 predictions. Who do you guys have? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.